Do you feel like you don't speak enough Hindi? That you need to know more words? Then stick around. With these lessons, you'll pick up some of the most common words in just a few minutes. Now, this video is a small portion of our learning program. To get the full lessons, translations, and Fluency Fast study tools, click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account. Today we're going to talk about 4 techniques to help you stop translating in your head and instead start thinking in your target language. This will allow you to have conversations with ease, read smoothly, and better understand native speakers. These are 4 methods to help you think in a new language. Number 1, surround yourself with your target language. This way, you'll be completely immersed in the language. Without realizing it, you'll learn pronunciation, sentence structures, grammar, and new vocabulary. Play music in the background while you're cooking, or have a radio station on while you study. Just use one of our endless podcasts available to you. These are easy to listen to in the background while doing other things. Number 2, learn through observation. This is how we all learned our native languages as kids. Words will develop their own meanings that relate better to your target language, rather than meanings that are translated directly. Number 3, speak out loud to yourself. Even if you're a little embarrassed, it forces you to listen to how you speak. It makes it much easier to spot simple grammar mistakes. Number 4, practice daily. If you practice everything for only one day, you won't retain the information you learned. The brain can realistically only focus for about 30 minutes. So studying a little every day allows you to absorb better. Follow these steps and have patience. You'll soon be able to achieve your language learning goals. Just make sure to remember these 4 methods. Sign up for your free lifetime account. No credit card required, and you'll get the best free online resources. And start learning more every day. Want to finally start speaking in your target language? In this guide, you'll discover the top 7 ways to practice speaking on your own with our lessons. Let's begin. Number 1, shadowing. Shadowing is a proven learning technique where all you do is repeat what you hear in order to practice speaking. So access any audio or video lesson on the site and press the play button to start. Then, as you listen or watch, just repeat the conversations. Or, even easier, read along out loud with the dialogue section. The script is right there in front of you. With our lessons, you can master entire conversations, just like that. Number 2, read out loud. I just mentioned it, but reading out loud is another powerful tactic and deserves its own mention. With every lesson, you get written transcripts and translations. So, as you play the lesson, read the dialogue out loud as you hear it. Why? By reading out loud, you're also practicing your speaking skills. You can do this with the lesson notes, the lesson transcript, or the dialogue tool. With the dialogue tool, you can listen to each line again and again, and repeat out loud until you master them all. Number 3, speed up your reading to speed up your speaking. Being able to speak without thinking is a sign of language mastery. If you're talking to a native and can respond quickly, they'll assume that you're fairly fluent. How can you do this? When you read out loud, try increasing your speed a little bit every time. So, start by reading with the dialogue tool. If you're like most learners, you'll read the first line slowly. That's because you're still getting used to the words, which is okay. Reread it. On your second try, you know most of the words, and you'll read a little faster. Reread it again. On your third try, you'll be even faster, at a native speaker's speed. And being able to read these phrases out loud and fast will help you speak fast. Number 4, record and compare yourself with native speakers. In order to sound like a native speaker, you must imitate native speakers. So here's how. Access the voice recorder, which is in the dialogue study tool in every lesson. Click on the microphone icon. Listen to the native speaker's audio, and then record yourself. You can then compare the 2 recordings side by side, and practice and try again and again until you perfect your pronunciation. Number 5, get feedback from our Premium Plus teacher. If you're learning by yourself and don't have access to real teachers, then you can always get feedback from our Premium Plus teachers. With the My Teacher tool, you can record yourself speaking and send the audio file to the teacher. They'll review it and tell you what to improve and how. That's it. Number 6, level up your speaking with Premium Plus assignments. With Premium Plus, you can also get assignments that cover reading, writing, listening, and even speaking from your teacher. These assignments can be tailored to your goals and needs. You get a new one every week, or anytime you're ready for a new one. Number 7, get even more lessons in the lesson library. If you want even more lessons on speaking and conversations, visit our lesson library and under Category, choose Conversation. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons that are focused on speaking. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way, and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. I'll see you next time. Bye! You've decided to study a new language. So now what? Well, you want to become fluent fast, right? Here are the top 5 shortcuts to learning a language. Number 1, create a study schedule and set some goals. Many language learners are unorganized. Creating a schedule allows you to free up time to study consistently. Goals give you motivation and something to strive for. Number 2, make it fun. If you learn how to make your study time enjoyable, chances are you'll be more inclined to study. Watch a TV show with subtitles or listen to some music. Number 3, find a language partner. This is the best way to improve your conversation skills. It will help you gain fluency even faster and increase confidence when speaking. Number 4, use word lists to build up a solid vocabulary. This is a great way to build up your fluency, one word at a time. Luckily, we have all the word lists you need, with a range of topics, from food to love. Choose whichever language you want to study and go. Number 5, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Nothing helps you improve more than correcting your own errors. You're more likely to remember it correctly the next time around. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't be afraid to learn from them. There's no magical way to learn a new language overnight, but doing all of these can really help your learning process. And remember, if you're interested in getting on the fast track to fluency, sign up for your free lifetime account. No credit card required, and you'll get the best free online resources. Start learning now.
hindipod101.com में स्वागत है।
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम प्रेरणा है। आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई। Hi, my name is Prerna. Nice to meet you. Welcome to hindipod101.com's Hindi in 3 minutes, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Hindi. In the last lesson, we learned how to use the verb आना. In this lesson, we'll jump into our series dedicated to question words in Hindi. Our first word is not only the most common question word, but sometimes it is also used as an interjection. The word we are talking about is what in English. You'll see that there are many ways to translate it in Hindi. So imagine you want to ask your friend, what are you doing? How will you do it? You will ask, तुम क्या कर रहे हो? To a male. Or, तुम क्या कर रही हो? To a female. So, let's break down this question. Tum is the informal word for you. Kya is the question word, what, in Hindi. Kar rahe is the present tense of do, which comes from the verb karna. Kar rahi would be its feminine form. Ho is the verb to be, which is used with tum. What are you doing? Tum kya kar rahe ho? Tum kya kar rahi ho? In English, if you want to ask a question, you have to change the verb order. For example, if you wanted to turn the statement, this is your house, into a question, you'd arrange it such that the verb comes at the beginning. Is this your house? Well, we have some good news. None of this is necessary in Hindi. In Hindi, sentences can be changed to questions just by adjusting the tone of your speech. Here's an example of this question tone as said by a male speaker. मैं आपकी मदद कर सकता हूँ. And here is an example as said by a female speaker. मैं आपकी मदद कर सकती हूँ. That means, can I help you? Instead of turning statements into questions with a change of tone, you can also add the word kya, what, for emphasis. It always goes at the beginning of the question. For example, क्या मैं आपकी मदद कर सकता हूँ? Can I help you? For a male speaker. क्या मैं आपकी मदद कर सकती हूँ? For a female. Simple yes-no questions can be formed by the optional placement of the question word kya in the initial position of a declarative sentence. Let's look at another example. If we were to ask someone if the house belongs to him, we could say, ये आपका घर है? Is this your house? But to emphasize the question, we add the question word kya at the beginning of the sentence and it becomes, क्या ये आपका घर है? Is this your house? Now it's time for Prerna's points. The question word kya is also used in exclamations. For example, when you look at a beautiful garden, you could say, क्या सुंदर बागीचा है? What a beautiful garden. In this lesson, we learned how to use the word what in different kinds of sentences. I know it is not always simple, but I'm sure you'll remember these short rules. In the next lesson, we will talk about the Hindi equivalent for the word where. Do you know it already? I can promise it's easier than what. I'll be waiting for you in the next Hindi in 3 minutes lesson. फिर मिलेंगे. See you then.
Want to speak real Hindi from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at HindiPod101.com.
This time, we're going to ask questions using the word where. Question words always appear in the second position in the non-yes-no question sentences. Imagine you want to ask your friend where he or she is now. You will ask, तुम कहाँ हो? This is the way you ask, where are you? तुम कहाँ हो? So, let's break down this question. First, we had tum, which is the informal you in Hindi. Kahan means where. Ho is the to be verb, which is always used with the informal you. Altogether, it is tum kahan ho? Where are you? So, in Hindi, where is mainly translated as kahan. The question word is always stressed. So, for example, if you want to ask, where do you live? You will say, तुम कहाँ रहते हो? The question word is placed in the second position. After it comes the verb. But be careful because several variations of kahan are possible in Hindi. For example, if you want to ask, where do you come from? You will use kahan se instead of just kahan. The question in Hindi then becomes, तुम कहाँ से आए हो? The word also changes if you want to insist on the destination. If you say, for example, kahan ko, this literally means where to. This question formula kahan ko is often used when asking about your final destination. For example, to ask where are you going, you say, तुम कहाँ को जा रहे हो? An important thing to note here is that we can also omit the ko to mean the same thing and simply ask, तुम कहाँ जा रहे हो? Which is just like asking, where are you going? The ko, however, makes it stronger. The grammatical rule for kahan, kahan se, or kahan ko remains the same. They all have to be followed by a verb. तुम कहाँ रहते हो? Here the verb is रहते, to stay. तुम कहाँ से आए हो? Here the verb is आए, to come. तुम कहाँ को जा रहे हो? Here the verb is जा रहे, to go. Now it's time for Prerna's points. People sometimes also use the word kidhar instead of kahan. Both these words can be used to ask the question where or in which direction. For example, we could also say tum kidhar ho to ask where are you. Before ending this lesson, let's look back at all the ways to translate where in Hindi. Kahan is the basic where, as in where do you live? Tum kahan rehte ho? Kahan se is insisting on the origin or starting point, as in where do you come from? Tum kahan se aaye ho? Kahan ko is insisting on the destination or the arrival point, as in Where are you going to? तुम कहाँ को जा रहे हो? In this lesson, we learned how to use the Hindi word for where, kahan, and also its different variations. Now you can avoid getting lost. In the next lesson, we'll learn more about asking questions, this time using when in Hindi. I'll be waiting for you in the next Hindi in 3 minutes lesson. फिर मिलेंगे. See you then. This time we are going to ask questions with the word when. Let's start. चलिए शुरू करें. Imagine you want to ask your friend when he is coming home. You will ask him, तुम घर कब आ रहे हो? तुम घर कब आ रहे हो? So, let's break down this question. First we had tum, which is the informal you. Ghar means home. Kab, which is the basic translation of when in Hindi. Then aa rahe is the verb to come. And finally ho is the to be verb are, which is always used with the informal you tum. So altogether it is tum ghar kab aa rahe ho. So in Hindi, when is generally translated as the word kab. For example, if you want to ask, when did you go? Tum kab gaye? The question word is placed in the second position and the verb comes at the end of the sentence. So let's have a look at another example. How can you say, when did you arrive? It is really simple since it's exactly the same pattern. Tum kab aaye? First we have tum, which is the informal you. Then is kab, which is when. And finally aaye, which is arrived. Have you noticed a difference between the sentences तुम घर कब आ रहे हो and तुम कब आए? The first one is talking about a future action. When are you coming home? Whereas the second one is referring to the past. When did you arrive? The point is that you can use the question word kab to talk about any moment, whether past or present. If you want to ask a question about duration, as in, since when have you been teaching? Then you'll simply have to add the word se after kab. So you would say, तुम कब से पढ़ा रहे हो? Here too it's exactly the same as in English because since is se, so kab se means since when. Let's see how to ask until when in Hindi. It is very easy as you simply say tak after kab. It becomes kab tak. So for example, if you want to ask a friend, until when are you going to stay? It will be तुम कब तक रुकोगे? But of course, there are other ways to ask about time. You can even be more specific by asking about the year, the date, or the hour. For example, you can ask, which year did you start studying? तुमने कौन से साल से पढ़ना शुरू किया था? Which day is better for you? तुम्हारे लिए कौन सा दिन अच्छा है? What time can we meet? हम कौन से समय मिल सकते हैं? Now it's time for Prerna's points. Question words are doubled when expecting multiple answers. For example, तुम कब जाते हो? And तुम कब जाते हो? Both mean when do you go? But if you ask तुम कब जाते हो, you're expecting multiple days or times as an answer. Okay, so in this lesson, we learned how to correctly use the question word for when, kab, and also its different variations. Next lesson, we'll learn more about asking questions with who in Hindi. I'll be waiting for you in the next Hindi in 3 minutes lesson. फिर मिलेंगे. See you then. This time, we are going to ask questions with the Hindi word for who. Imagine you want to ask your friend about the attractive new girl at school. Here, the question you can ask is, वो नई लड़की कौन है? Who's the new girl? वो नई लड़की कौन है? So, let's break down this question. First, we had wo, the third person pronoun for that. Nai is the adjective meaning new. Since it's an inflecting adjective, we use nai when the subject is feminine. It becomes naya when the subject is masculine. Kaun is the basic translation of who in Hindi. Hai is the to be verb for the third person. Altogether, it is wo nayi ladki kaun hai. So in Hindi, who is kaun? You can use it whenever you want to ask about someone's identity. For example, if you want to ask, who are these people? You will say, ye log kaun hai when talking about a group of unknown persons. Unlike in English, the subject here is followed by the question word who, which is then followed by the verb. Kaun only works for people, so you can't use it to ask information about things or places. In these cases, we add the word ne, ko, se, main, par, and ka to the question word. But here the question word kaun changes to kis, so to ask who did something, for example. If you are in a museum, for instance, you can ask ye tasveer kisne banai? This means who made this picture? Another phrase with kis that is used very often is kiski. In this case, the meaning is different, as it can be translated to whose. So, if you want to ask whose pencil is it, you will have to say ye kiski pencil hai. If we break down this question, it is ye, which means this, kiski, which means whose, pencil, which means pencil, and finally hai, which means is. You can also use the phrase kiske liye to ask for which person is it. So, if you want to know for which person is this piece of cake, it will be ye cake kiske liye hai. Now it's time for Prerna's points. If someone that you didn't expect is knocking at your door, the common question you can ask is kaun hai before opening the door. This literally means who is it in a really polite way. Another very casual way to ask it is kaun, which simply means who. But if your tone is questioning, it means the same thing as kaun hai. Before ending this lesson, let's go back and look at all the ways to translate who in Hindi. Kaun is the basic who, as in wo kaun hai. Kiski is insisting on the ownership. It is the equivalent of whose, as in whose pencil is it? Ye kiski pencil hai. Kiske liye, which is the direct translation of for which person, as in for which person is this piece of cake? Ye cake kiske liye hai. In this lesson, we learned how to use the word for who, which is kaun in Hindi, and also its variations. Now you can easily know who is who. Next lesson will be the last of this series. We will deal with the last but not least common question word, kyun. Do you know what this means? I'll be waiting for you with the answer in the next Hindi in 3 minutes lesson. Fir milenge. In the last lesson, we learned how to ask who questions in Hindi. This time, we are going to ask questions with the word why. Imagine your boss is giving you a call because you are not at work today. He will certainly ask you, "Tum aaj daftar kyun nahi aaye?" Tum aaj daftar kyun nahi aaye? So, let's break down this question. First, we had tum, which is the informal you. Aaj means today. Daftar means office. Kyun, which is the basic translation of why in Hindi. Nahi aaye, didn't come, where I is the second person of the verb ana in the present tense and nahi is a negative form. So in Hindi, kyun is the exact translation of why used to ask the reason for something. So for example, if your boss is asking you, "Why are you late today?" he will say, "Tum aaj der se kyun aaye?" Here, he uses kyun in order to get explanations and reasons. Another common usage of kyun is to ask the objective of something. But in this case, we can also use kis liye. Actually, kis liye is closer to the meaning of what for. In Hindi, we often say ye kis liye bana hai, which literally means what is it made for. Now it's time for Prerna's points. A famous expression in India is kyun nahi, which means as in English, why not? You can use it to accept a proposition if you agree. For example, if a friend asks you suddenly, "How about a movie tonight?" you can answer, "Kyun nahi?" Why not? Before ending this lesson, let's review all the ways to translate why in Hindi. Kyun is a basic translation of why, as in tum der se kyun aaye? Why are you late? Kis liye is what for, as in what is it made for? Ye kis liye bana hai? Finally, kyun nahi is why not? Bye-bye. Alvida.
Want to speak real Hindi from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at HindiPod101.com.
Hey everyone! Welcome to your monthly review. The monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, new study tools, resources, and where we show off learners like you speaking the language. That is, if you're brave enough to participate and become language learning famous. All the materials mentioned in this video are available for you right now on our website. Click the link in the description to sign up for your free lifetime account and start speaking in minutes. Okay, today's topic is why your worst days are the best days to study. So, have you ever had a day where you planned on learning language and you just couldn't go through with it? Even if learning a new language is your personal goal, something that you really want? Well, today you're going to learn 1. Why these bad days happen, and 2. Why you'll get your best work done on your worst days. Let's start. Why bad days happen with language learning. When I say bad days, I don't mean when you're too busy or when life gets in the way. These things are unavoidable. I mean days when you're just not in the mood. It's a perfectly good day, the sun is shining, no bad news, but you just can't get yourself to study. You're just wasting the day. So, here's why they happen. First, it's the law of diminishing returns in action. What does this mean? Think of it as eating pizza every day for 5 days a week. On the first day, the first 2 slices are great, but by the third one, you're feeling queasy. It's not as good. And by the 5th day, you're sick of pizza. That's the law of diminishing returns, when the benefits start decreasing over time. And it happens with language learning. When you first start, you learn a lot of phrases and it feels good. You're excited. But as time goes on, you don't feel like you're learning much. And this affects your mood and motivation, so you're not as excited to learn anymore. So you start having bad days. Second, bad days happen because you overthink things and ruin it for yourself. It's like dreading going to the gym. Let's say you went yesterday. You have to go again today. So you're dreading it all day long. I gotta go again. You set yourself up for a bad mood and a bad day. Third, bad days are a natural part of the cycle. Some days will be good. Most days you'll feel indifferent. Some days will be bad. But that's completely natural, and anyone with long-term projects and goals feels the same. And fourth, you can't be on 100% of the time. So just like days can't always be good, you too can't always be on and ready to go all the time. Again, just a realistic and expected part of the journey. Now, let's jump into the second part. Why you'll get your best work done on your worst days. So, why will you get your best work done? First, it's not that bad once you start. Once you've spent 10 or 15 minutes learning a language, it's not so bad. People say the same thing about the gym. If you show up and put in a bit of time, it gets easier. Second, it's overcoming a mental barrier. What I mean is, when most of us have bad days, our brain automatically says, okay, can't be done today. Stop, we're done. But if you just work through it, you don't take these bad days so seriously anymore. And that means you're more likely to stick with your language learning goal. This brings us to the next point. Third, it's your best work because working on a bad day only strengthens your habit of language learning. Remember, habits are what will help you master a language over time. If you can stick to a habit on a bad day, your habit only gets stronger, and it will lead you to fluency. And finally, fourth, it just feels good to overcome something. Imagine you have a bad day, but you still put in 10 minutes of language learning. It's a real sense of achievement. And it doesn't matter if you do a 10-minute lesson or a 5-minute lesson. The fact that you made some progress on a bad day will give you the motivation you need to keep going. Now, speaking of lessons, here are this month's new lessons and resources. First, the Best of 2018 Language Learning Cheat Sheets. If you want to get access to all of our conversation cheat sheets that we sent out this year, here's your chance. Download this PDF bundle right now. Next, the brand new Supermarket Cheat Sheet. With this cheat sheet, you'll learn must-know shopping phrases and vocab for meats, vegetables, and all products that you'll find in a supermarket. And finally, the most common adjectives. If you're a beginner and don't yet know these adjectives, then this is a perfect chance to boost your vocabulary. This 1-minute lesson will get them stuck in your head, guaranteed. To get these free lessons and resources, just click the link in the description below. All right, everyone. Now we're asking you to submit a video or audio file of yourself speaking the language. If you do, you'll win 3 free months of access to our learning program, which includes your very own teacher. Here's the challenge for you. Yes, everyone watching this. Record a 30-second to 1-minute video or audio clip. Introduce yourself in the language. Share your name, where you're from, and why you're studying this language. And you'll win a 3-month Premium Plus subscription. To submit, click on the link in the description. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Then, fill out the form. Attach the audio or video file, and press submit. We may feature you in next month's episode. So a lot of learners will see you and your progress, and will hopefully get inspired to improve and master the language. To submit a recording, click the link in the description and follow the instructions on the page. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about how to set achievable language learning goals and resolutions. In the meantime, submit your recording if you're brave. Like and share this video, and leave a comment to tell us what language learning tactics you'd like us to talk about. See you next time. Bye! You probably already have language learning goals, but the real key to success is to make the right goals. In this video, I'll show you how, with 5 tips to stop wasting your time and start learning. Hi everyone, Alicia here. In this video, I'll teach you 5 tips to stop procrastinating and keep your motivation for learning a new language. Some of these are study methods, and some will be general ways that you can keep your study motivation up. While these tips are for studying a language, some of them are good for other things in your life too, such as new challenges or other types of goals. But before we start, don't forget to click the link in the description to get your bundle of PDF cheat sheets, including survival phrases, romantic lines, learning tips, absolutely free. Now, you probably already have some goals you're trying to achieve when it comes to your language learning progress. While achieving these goals is important, making sure you make the right goals is the real key to success. The very first tip is to set SMART goals. SMART is an acronym, meaning each letter in the word stands for another word. The earliest known reference to SMART goals was in an article written by George T. Doran for a 1981 issue of the Management Review Academic Journal. The acronym varies depending on its use, but each letter generally stands for some criterion that helps with effective goal setting. For our purposes, let's define SMART goals as follows. The S stands for specific. Your goals should target a specific area for improvement. Our natural tendency is to have a goal that's very general. If your goal isn't specific enough, you'll lack the focus and proper direction you need to achieve your goals. So S is for specific. M stands for measurable. Your goals should be quantifiable. They should be able to indicate progress in some way. You have to be able to track your progress, otherwise you won't know if you're getting any closer to your goal. As you see yourself getting closer and closer to your goal, your motivation will go up. So your goals need to be measurable. A stands for achievable. Your goals have to be achievable. Many people want to become fluent in their target language immediately. However, this goal is unrealistic. Your goals have to be achievable. If your goal is too challenging for your current level, it will only demotivate you when you aren't where you think you should be. Instead, think about what results can realistically be achieved given your level, your resources, and any constraints, such as time. So make sure that your goal is actually achievable. R stands for relevant. Your goals may be specific, they may be measurable, and they may be achievable, but are they actually relevant to what you want to achieve? Don't just do a lot of things. If you're focused on improving your speaking skills in your target language, make sure that you spend your time having conversations with others. Make sure you're doing the right things so that your efforts actually bring you closer to your goal instead of just giving you more work. T stands for timely. You need to set a deadline for your goals. If you don't specify when you plan to achieve the result you've set for yourself, it's very easy to put off the task. You can delay it until tomorrow, the next week, or the next month, and at this rate, you'll never get things done. So your goal must have an end date. So remember, tip number 1 is to set SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. So, for example, a goal you could make is registering for a challenging test. a test that's a little bit beyond your current level. I hate failing, so if I register for a challenging test, I'm motivated to study because I don't want to fail. This is a good example of a SMART goal because tests are specific. There are tons of different tests focused on speaking, grammar, and comprehension. Pick a test that can measure the specific area in which you'd like to grow. Measurable. Tests are measurable. Every test measures your performance to some degree. Whether it's a total count of right and wrong answers or a simple pass or fail, every test measures your performance. Tests are achievable. There's an important detail to remember here, though. Find a test that is achievable for you. If you're a beginner, then the most advanced test is probably not right for you. Find one that's meant for beginners. Then, after that one, work your way up to more advanced tests in the future. Tests are relevant. Most, if not all, language tests are designed to ensure that you're capable of performing to a set standard in your target language. Lower-level tests are designed to ensure that you can handle the most essential aspects of your target language. But there are tests for all levels, including higher education entry exams that could be difficult, even for native speakers. Pick the one that's right for you. And finally, tests are timely. If your test is completed in a physical location, then this one is obvious. You have to be at that spot at the set time, ready to take the test. There's no wiggle room. But even online tests will most likely have a deadline for you to complete them. The second tip to help you stop procrastinating and to keep your motivation up is to create a diary or social media account that you can update every day. This may seem simple or even unrelated to language learning, but by creating a diary in your target language, you have the chance to actually create in the language itself. Creating a diary is also a great way to practice writing in your target language. Another method is to create a social media account, which gives you the chance to connect with other people who are working toward the same goals as you. Maybe they can even give you feedback on your writing. If you're following people online who regularly share good resources, those can be really helpful for you too. It lets you find new tools that can encourage and motivate you, especially if they relate to some of your other interests, such as music or books in other languages. This is a really good way to take a few minutes every day to work towards your goal, without it even seeming like work. The third tip is to focus on understanding a specific TV show or movie. Try to watch a movie in your target language without any subtitles, or try to understand your favorite TV show that's in your target language. If you don't already have a goal like this, it can be a fun way to practice. If your friends often talk about a particular TV show, it could be a good way to study, and a fun way to keep your motivation up together. Plus, TV shows and movies often use the language in a way that's vastly different from the conversations provided in traditional textbooks, so you often get to hear different vocabulary choices. It's a very powerful way to learn a language and end up sounding more like a native speaker. Tip number 4 is to enroll in a regular language course. Register for something you have to go to or you have to participate in regularly, meaning every week or 2 times a week or maybe even every day. The point of this is it's something that gives you a pattern to follow. Forming a study habit will help you progress very quickly. It will make it easier for you to achieve your language learning goals. Once you form the habit, you won't even have to think about starting each time. It'll just be natural. Have something that you must take responsibility for. You'll be more motivated to continue if there are others, especially classmates or a teacher, watching you progress. Look for resources inside your community, and if there are no opportunities there, look for things digitally. You can find many of our videos on YouTube, on Facebook, and of course, our entire video and audio lesson library on our website. The lessons on our website also come with assignment courses, so you can test your knowledge. The last tip is to make your goal public. Share your goal. Tell people about your goal. For example, if you want to give a business presentation in your target language this year, then tell your colleagues or your boss about it. Some people may find what you're doing interesting, and they can support you. This kind of pressure can help push people forward who have trouble motivating themselves alone. By telling others about your goal, you'll feel more accountable. Because you told somebody that you were planning on doing something, there's an underlying sense of guilt if you don't accomplish the task. You may feel that you have failed your peers in some way, even if there's no direct pressure from them. Using this technique, you can push yourself into moving forward toward your goal, especially at times when you feel the least motivated. And that brings us to the end of our 5 tips to stop wasting time and start learning a language. We've talked a lot about how to set goals for yourself and think about new challenges. First, I told you about creating SMART goals. Remember, SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Registering for a test is a great example of a SMART goal. Next, we talked about keeping a diary or social media account in your target language. Start doing it right now, even if you're still a beginner. Then, I suggested that you focus on understanding a specific TV show or movie. Pick something in your target language that you really love, because you may need to watch it over and over again until it all makes sense to you. And next, we talked about enrolling in a regular language course. This will give you something concrete that you must take responsibility for. Finally, make your goal public. Tell someone about your learning goals to keep you accountable for them. You're much less likely to abandon your studies if you have friends asking you about your progress. I hope that these are useful tips that you can use to reach your language learning goals. And before we go, let me remind you to download tons of free PDF lessons to learn the language the fast, fun, and easy way. Just click the link in the description. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and share it with anyone who may find it useful. Do you have any good tips that you've used to help you reach your goals? Share them in the comments. Thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.
Sign here, please.
कृपया यहाँ साइन कीजिए. कृपया यहाँ साइन कीजिए.
I'd like to make a deposit.
मैं पैसे जमा करना चाहती हूँ. मैं पैसे जमा करना चाहती हूँ.
Go back.
वापस जाओ. वापस जाओ.
Are there any annual charges with this account?
क्या इस खाते पर कोई सालाना चार्ज है? क्या इस खाते पर कोई सालाना चार्ज है?
I'd like to open an account.
मैं एक खाता खोलना चाहती हूँ. मैं एक खाता खोलना चाहती हूँ.
Can I have a receipt, please?
क्या मुझे रसीद मिल सकती है? क्या मुझे रसीद मिल सकती है?
Can I have a bag, please?
क्या एक बैग मिलेगा? क्या एक बैग मिलेगा?
I'll take one of this.
मुझे यह एक चाहिए. मुझे यह एक चाहिए.
What's that?
वो क्या है? वो क्या है?
What's this?
यह क्या है? यह क्या है?
Can you come back later?
क्या आप बाद में आ सकते हो? क्या आप बाद में आ सकते हो?
Sorry, we're completely booked.
सॉरी, बुकिंग फुल है. सॉरी, बुकिंग फुल है.
I'm afraid I can't make it.
मुझे अफसोस है पर मैं नहीं आ पाऊंगी. मुझे अफसोस है पर मैं नहीं आ पाऊंगी.
I forgive you.
मैं आपको माफ़ करती हूँ. मैं आपको माफ़ करती हूँ.
And you?
और आप? और आप?
I'm fine.
मैं ठीक हूँ. मैं ठीक हूँ.
Good night.
शुभ रात्रि. शुभ रात्रि.
Good afternoon.
नमस्ते. नमस्ते.
Bye-bye.
बाय 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 बाय
It takes about 30 minutes by train.
ट्रेन से लगभग 30 मिनट लगते हैं ट्रेन से लगभग 30 मिनट लगते हैं
I want a bottle of water.
मुझे पानी के लिए एक बोतल चाहिए मुझे पानी के लिए एक बोतल चाहिए
I live in Los Angeles.
मैं लॉस एंजलिस में रहती हूँ मैं लॉस एंजलिस में रहती हूँ
My vacation starts in 2 weeks.
मेरी छुट्टी 2 सप्ताह में शुरू हो जाएगी मेरी छुट्टी 2 सप्ताह में शुरू हो जाएगी
I've changed.
मैं बदल गई हूँ मैं बदल गई हूँ
I won't do it again.
मैं दोबारा नहीं करूंगा मैं दोबारा नहीं करूंगा
This weekend I'm going to the movies.
इस सप्ताह अंत मैं फिल्म देखने जा रही हूँ इस सप्ताह अंत मैं फिल्म देखने जा रही हूँ
What are you doing this weekend?
तुम इस सप्ताह अंत क्या कर रहे हो तुम इस सप्ताह अंत क्या कर रहे हो
I'll have time next week.
मेरे पास अगले सप्ताह समय होगा मेरे पास अगले सप्ताह समय होगा
I'm busy this week.
मैं इस सप्ताह व्यस्त हूँ मैं इस सप्ताह व्यस्त हूँ
You're handsome.
तुम सुंदर हो तुम सुंदर हो
I love you.
मैं तुमसे प्यार करता हूँ मैं तुमसे प्यार करता हूँ
I'm having a great time.
मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है
Would you like to dance?
तुम नाचना चाहोगे तुम नाचना चाहोगे
Where do you want to go?
तुम कहाँ जाना चाहते हो तुम कहाँ जाना चाहते हो
You look great.
तुम बहुत अच्छी लग रही हो तुम बहुत अच्छी लग रही हो
Do you like it?
तुम्हें यह पसंद है तुम्हें यह पसंद है
It looks great.
यह बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है यह बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है
I have no money.
मेरे पास पैसे नहीं हैं मेरे पास पैसे नहीं हैं
I want to go here.
मैं यहाँ जाना चाहती हूँ मैं यहाँ जाना चाहती हूँ
I'm looking for this place.
मैं इस जगह के लिए देख रही हूँ मैं इस जगह के लिए देख रही हूँ
Does this hurt?
क्या यह दुखता है क्या यह दुखता है
I have a cough.
मुझे खांसी है मुझे खांसी है
I have a stomach ache.
मुझे पेट दर्द है मुझे पेट दर्द है
I have a headache.
मुझे सिर दर्द है मुझे सिर दर्द है
I have a fever.
मुझे बुखार है मुझे बुखार है
It's already full.
यह पहले से ही भरी हुई है यह पहले से ही भरी हुई है
About 2 weeks.
लगभग 2 हफ्ते लगभग 2 हफ्ते
Is there something wrong?
क्या कुछ गड़बड़ है क्या कुछ गड़बड़ है
I'm here to visit family.
मैं यहाँ परिवार से मिलने आई हूँ मैं यहाँ परिवार से मिलने आई हूँ
I'm here on business.
मैं काम से यहाँ हूँ मैं काम से यहाँ हूँ
I'll stay at the Central Hotel.
मैं सेंट्रल होटल में रहूँगी मैं सेंट्रल होटल में रहूँगी
Have you ever been here before?
क्या आप यहाँ कभी पहले गए हैं क्या आप यहाँ कभी पहले गए हैं
It will snow on Friday.
शुक्रवार को बर्फ पड़ेगी शुक्रवार को बर्फ पड़ेगी
Remember, here's what you can do to learn all of these words by heart. Drill these words with our spaced repetition flashcards, which will help cement these words into your long-term memory. Save them to the word bank, your personal vocabulary collection, where you can print out your own study sheets, or review the words with our looped vocabulary slideshow, and play it until you know all of the words. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to get these lessons and study tools.